Hi guys, how are we doing? This is actually my second time filming this. My first time, the lighting was so atrocious. It looked like I was filming it in a cave. I'm afraid this lighting is giving hostage situation a little bit. I'm hoping it's not. It's just winter in Boston, I'm so sorry, and it's like cloudy. It's always cloudy. It's depression weather, unfortunately. So there's just no light coming naturally into my apartment. So I am testing out a lighting system, so I'm hoping it looks okay. I deeply apologize. I'm doing my best. This is a low budget production, okay? We're A24 indie over here, which is perfect leading into the topic of today's video, which is award season. If you do not know, we are currently in the thick of award season, okay? The Golden Globes have happened already, the Emmys have happened already, and it's just gonna keep going on. The train doesn't stop from here. It is never ending from here. Who needs awards? Celebrities need awards. So if you didn't watch the Golden Globes, you probably heard about Joe Coy's really heinous opening monologue. And then after that, we had the Emmys, which I normally watch, but I didn't watch this year because I was on a plane. And quite frankly, I didn't know they were happening because they got rescheduled from September due to the SAG-AFTRA strikes. Usually I would care, but I don't really care this year because everyone who won an Emmy also won a Golden Globes, which I did watch the Golden Globes. So there wasn't much change or upset during the Emmys, so I felt okay missing it this year. The week that I'm filming this, or rather refilming this, a moment of silence, the Oscar nominations came out last week on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure, which is random, but go off, I guess. It should be about 2 weeks for you since they came out. Yeah, it was in fact yikes, unfortunately. My Lord and Savior, Greta Gerwig, did not get nominated for Best Director, which is a category that, historically has ignored women. Only 3 women have ever won Best Director, and that is Catherine Bigelow for The Hurt Locker, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, and Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, which I by chance have seen all 3 of these. It wasn't on purpose, even though that is something that I would do, which is saying something about the quality of film by women. And so like I said, those were 3 winners, but there's only ever been 7 nominees of women for Best Director. So the women have only gotten the Best Director nomination 7 times. And in the past, Greta Gerwig has been nominated for Lady Bird, which is an excellent movie. But this means that the success rate for women when they're nominated is 43%, whereas the percentage for men is around 15%. I don't want it to be confusing. The statistic is for a man, his success rate is 15.2%, just because statistically, because men are nominated so much, they have a better chance of losing. They have a higher chance of losing just because they take up so much of the nominations. So for the Oscars, other big snubs include Margot Robbie, who was not nominated for Best Actress for her role in Barbie, which people found very surprising. I do want to say Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie are both nominated for Oscars this year because Greta is nominated for her writing and Margot is a producer of Barbie, so she's nominated because Barbie is nominated for Best Picture. But they aren't nominated in the categories they were expected to be nominated in. People noticed, I guess you could say. You could say people noticed. I am people. Barbie was such a box office success. It was just really successful as a movie. I think Barbenheimer, even if you don't care about movies, you heard about Barbenheimer. I remember specifically I was on a shuttle bus because the subway in Boston was out again. And I was on a shuttle bus to, I think, meet a friend at the theater, and the people in front of me were discussing Barbenheimer, and they were talking about if they were going to see it on 30 millimeter or if they were going to see it in IMAX. And I just remember thinking this is the best day of my life because everybody around me was talking about film and I was like, oh my God, this is utopia. It was amazing. No one can deny the success of Barbie and obviously Oppenheimer, but obviously Barbie broke records. Anyways, I didn't mean to talk about this so long. Let's move on. So another snub was Zac Efron, and I feel like not everybody knows about this. So Zac Efron was recently in a movie, it's probably still in theaters right now, called Ironclaw. And so Ironclaw is this movie about an American wrestling family, a real famous one. And it was produced by A24, the movie, and it's just supposed to be a really tragic movie about this real life family. And Zac Efron has the starring role. Anyway, so people are kind of complaining up to A24, saying this is A24's fault for Zac not getting the nomination because the movie came out so late in the window of time of when movies can be nominated, if that makes sense. People are complaining and saying that he didn't have enough time to gain clout for his role. He didn't have enough time to campaign, which resulted in him not getting a nomination. I'm also just really interested in what led Zac Efron to take this role. Because it is about a wrestling family, Zac Efron is really fit, he's really toned, he's really strong. in this movie. There has been a little bit of discussion about his like facial appearance, which I'm personally not willing to entertain. I think we comment on what people look like probably too much, but I do just want to bring up like his physical transformation purely because he had said in other like televised things. So in his like docuseries he did on Netflix, he talked about doing Baywatch and how like not eating what he like felt like he needed to eat to look as fit as possible for a Baywatch, how that really messed with him mentally. So I'm just hoping that for Ironclaw, and I don't know. I'm just hoping for Ironclaw he was able to do it in a healthy way that like let him keep his sanity mentally and was like a healthy way of him to get so strong, just because he did have emotional strife with the way he got fit for past roles. So basically I'm saying, Zac Efron, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're okay. Next in the award show lineup, I'm just going to read you quickly a list of what's coming up this awards season. So we have the Grammys on February 4th, which I think may be the day this video is coming out. So hey, check the Grammys, I guess. The BAFTAs are on February 18th. The People's Choice Awards are also on February 18th, so a little drama in the chat. The SAG Awards are on the 24th. The Oscars are on March 10th, and the Tonys on June 16th. And that's just the well-known ones. There are also a bunch of smaller award shows in between, like practically every like 2 days there's an award show. It's actually insane how frequently award shows are happening. However, a lot of them are like little ones. And by this I mean one that's not televised, because it is like a more niche set of like candidates or nominees. And a lot of them are like the unappreciated roles in movies and TV. So for example, there is the Makeup Artist and Hairstylist Guild Awards, there's the Writers Guild Awards, there's the Costume Designer Guild Awards, and there's the Society of Camera Operators Awards. So a lot of categories, a lot of areas where people are more, you know, they're not getting the spotlight as much. Instead, we get to watch the actors complain about not getting enough time to thank everyone while Timothée Chalamet reads under the table. Now, okay, I feel like it sounds like I'm complaining about award season, but I want to get it straight. I love award season. I think award season is so fun. I thrive off award season. I would say it's my Super Bowl, except for I am a self-respecting American, so the Super Bowl is my Super Bowl. Nothing beats how chaotic award season is. I am that annoying roommate that while we're watching, I'm telling you who should win of the nominees as they're reading the nominees. And then I'm the one in the corner being like, that's stupid, that's not the right person, when the person who I want to win doesn't win. I hope my neighbors like my script considering they're hearing it again. In college, I had beef with one of my film professors because he made like a fake ballot, or like the department or whatever, him and his friends, basically, they made their own version of like the Oscar ballots, and they wouldn't put Bohemian Rhapsody on their ballots. This was the year that like Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated. And I was so like annoyed about it because I was like a huge Bohemian Rhapsody fan, just because I was like a Queen stan. And so I was like diehard Bohemian Rhapsody. I want Bohemian Rhapsody to win everything. And this man would not put Bohemian Rhapsody on the ballot, but joke's on them because Bohemian Rhapsody did happen to win like 4 Oscars that night. Sorry. Stay mad. Anyways, as I was saying, award season is pure chaos. An award show usually starts before it starts. And I don't mean like the nominations like months in advance. I'm talking about the red carpet, okay? I'm talking about the onslaught of A-list and B-list celebrities walking down the red carpet, and then you accidentally see an influencer in the corner and you're like, why is that influencer invited? Like, how did they get on the list? Me, pick me, choose me, love me. Now, I love a good red carpet review. It is hilarious hearing people talk about, you know, the different insane dresses or boring ass suits that people wear on the red carpet. However, nothing is more cringe to me when the interviewer clearly does not know the actor standing in front of them and they're asking them, who are you wearing? The actor does not care. They ask them, who are you excited to meet? This is the actor's 10th Emmys. They do not care. Or which category are you most excited about? The actor is just there so they don't get fined.
I'm here so I won't get fined.
And listen, I totally understand. It is so hard to be a red carpet interviewer, or maybe it's not hard to get the job, I don't know, but it's hard to be good, I think, at doing a red carpet interview. An example of someone who I think does a good job of a red carpet interview is Emma Chamberlain. And I think that's why she keeps getting invited back. Like, I think she's done the Met Gala twice. I don't think she knows exactly every person she's talking to. I think that would be hard, but I think that she's really down to earth and she's not like pretending, you know, she's really charismatic. And I think she has a good time interviewing, so the actors or the models or whoever also have a good time talking to her.
Love you. Bye.
Love ya.
However, some are just so like horrible. They're so like, ooh, hard to look at. I just start laughing because of how like incredulous it is. Like, it's just like, ooh, it's so like, ooh, that like I just start laughing to like feel the awkwardness. For example, the one that stands out in my mind is the Ashley Graham and Hugh Grant interview. Oh my gosh, it just like went downhill from the beginning.
Do you have your hopes up for anyone?
No one in particular.
How fun is it to shoot something like that?
Well, I'm barely in it. I'm in it for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, but still, you showed up and you had fun, right?
Almost.
I feel bad for like everyone involved, to be honest. Like, it just needed to end as quickly as possible. It was just like a textbook like car crash. It's like you can't help but not look away, even though you should, even though you want to. Okay, so after the red carpet, then we get to the actual award show. And obviously this consists of a few components. It always usually starts with either an opening monologue or an opening performance. And like everything else so far, it can either go great or it can go horribly wrong. Let's start with the good, you know? One that like sticks out to me is Neil Patrick Harris at the Tonys. So I don't really watch the Tonys. I should. I'm not cultured enough. I really should get into it. But there is one Neil Patrick Harris like opening performance that he did where it was like this huge thing. They're like, you know, we have to top what we've done in the past. And so they did this huge like medley of different performances within like one song. And what kind of made it iconic is they said they never actually got it right before the award show. They only nailed it for the first time during the like opening performance of the show. And there's just so much going on. It's so like, it's like amazingly chaotic. It's like chaotic in a good way. And they pulled it off. So it was really cool and it was really over the top. It was amazing. Another one that I personally really like is Ricky Gervais. I don't think he said he'll do like an award show anymore, but he did a few award shows and I think his always hit well because he like just seemed like he hated everyone there.
You'll be pleased to know this is the last time I'm hosting these awards, so I don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did.
I think he kind of set the tone for award shows, where award shows do like to kind of get meta and like make fun of themselves. Like, it's more popular for jokes or like the situation of award shows, if that makes any sense, to be more like self-deprecating. Okay, so Ricky Gervais's jokes are always kind of mean. You know, he's like, oh, I don't care, I don't actually want to be here, but they're paying me. He'll like bring a drink on the stage with him. And overall, I think it just really hit with the audience. I think part of watching award season is like, you want to watch it because it's so like crazy and like glitzy and glammy, but it's also like there's a little bit of hatred, a little bit of hate watching involved with award season, I think, because of how like it's almost like for me it's pure jealousy. You know, it's like I want to be in that room so goddamn bad. So I think there's like a little bit of jealousy that Ricky Gervais's like, you know, crass, like very sarcastic monologues or jokes, like they mesh well, you know what I mean? They complement each other. Like I was saying, the award shows I think really kind of lean into this now. So, you know, like how winners like to use their speeches to talk about a problem in the world. So like Joaquinix, I did this last time I filmed too. Joaquinix is Joaquin Phoenix's superhero name. So winners like to give speeches about a problem in the world, okay? So Joaquin Phoenix will win. He'll get up and he'll start talking about animal rights, okay? And then after that, the host will come on and be like, oh, these winners, these actors like to talk about problems in the world. Ha, they're so silly, they're so rich. And you're just kind of like, yikes, guys, maybe we could have planned this a little bit better. Anyways, for all the good hosts, there's unfortunately like a lot of bad hosts, or sometimes there's no host if you're into that. I feel like I don't need to tell you about Joe Coy and the Golden Globes a few weeks ago. I feel like it's circulated pretty well. That was just like a yikes sandwich, and he just like kept adding more and more to the sandwich. More slices.
It's enough slices!
He just kept adding more and more and more on top, and it just kept getting worse. It was so awkward. Like, I could not believe the words that were coming out of his mouth and how he thought they would be funny, that I just like started looking around, like laughing, because I was like, how is this happening right now? It felt so ridiculous.
Got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up.
It was just really uncomfortable. If Christopher Nolan looked at me the way he looked at Joe Coy, I would get career change tattooed on my body like Memento. Can you tell I watched Memento last weekend? In 2022, Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer hosted the Oscars together. So they did like a 3-host type beat. And for me, I just didn't really like it. It did not hit for me, unfortunately. I remember one time Amy Schumer like made a joke in the middle of the show, and it just like, it didn't hit, and it was like really awkward silence. It's just like, that's like the one thing about award shows. It's like, it's almost like a cringe challenge, like don't cringe challenge, because there's so much like awkward silence, awkward moments that like you really have to like kind of breathe to get through. And I remember so many of Regina Hall's jokes were about like the men in the audience being hot, and it's just like it's like, come on guys, we can do better than this. Like, we have more range. Like, there's so many movies to talk about. Let's make a few jokes about the movies. I'm begging, instead of just making someone like objectify people the whole night.
Jacob Elordi, is that how you say it? Elordi? I've seen you on Euphoria, and yes, you are legal. I'm sorry. You are positive.
I think the saving grace of the Grammys is that because it's about music, there's so many performances. Cut the talking and they say sing, they say sing, they say a few words, sing. After the monologue, then we get into the awards. So we get some shots of the actors trying to get sloshed. We get some of the actors who have been to a few of these award shows no longer pretending like they're enjoying being there. We get some nice orchestra. We get some presenters who have never met each other and act like they've never had a conversation on Earth before. But we also get some really funny bits. This Golden Globes, Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell had this bit together where the orchestra would play music, and towards the end they started dancing to it like really awkwardly, and it was really funny. Like, I remember I genuinely like laughed out loud, and a lot of the people in the audience were laughing. Even Ben Affleck was laughing. I'm sorry, that was a cheap shot. Half of the fun of award season is finding out if something is going to hit or miss. These shows are like a combination of knowing exactly what's going to happen, but not knowing when things are going to happen. Like, when is the chaos going to happen? Because you know what's going to happen, but you don't know at what moment it's going to happen. Angela Bassett did the thing. I'm sure award shows can get boring, especially when the same show wins like 3 awards in a row, but I have never wanted to be in a room more than when the audio gets cut because somebody swore. Like, I want to be in the room so I know what they said when someone gets on stage, do their speech, and they say, this show was I personally think the Oscars can be the most juicy because it's like March Madness, okay? Someone could be doing great all season, their team is 21-3, okay, and then they get to the tournament, they get to March Madness, and then they get to the Sweet 16 and get out to a team like Furman, who doesn't even know how they got on the bracket. The one example that I want to present is Glenn Close. Glenn Close has been nominated 8 times and won 0, okay? She's Leonardo DiCaprioing harder than Leonardo DiCaprio was Leonardo DiCaprioing. Bars. In 2019, Glenn Close was nominated for Best Actress for her role in The Wife, and this was her 7th Oscar nomination. She won the Golden Globe and she won the SAG Award, so she was the favorite, which was ironic, to win the Oscar. However, a relative newcomer at the time, Miss Olivia Coleman, ends up winning for The Favorite, okay? Getting the irony, you sticking with me? And this was her first Oscar nomination. And the thing about Olivia Coleman is she's gonna give a great speech. Miss Olivia Coleman could not give a bad speech if she tried.
Ooh, it's genuinely quite stressful. This is hilarious.
Hers are always so funny, the best of the night. I truly would do anything for Olivia Coleman. I think her choice of roles recently have been so interesting too. Like, her smaller TV roles, like she does a small role in The Bear and she does a small role in Heartstopper. Excellent TV. Anyways, the reason that part of it was so bad or like so awkward, it really looked like she was expecting to win the Oscar, right? She's been nominated so many times. She had been winning a fair amount during award season, although Olivia Coleman had been as well. So it just was like a little like, ooh, because it did look like Glenn Close was expecting to win. So that's what I mean. You can do well during the season, but sometimes Jabari Parker will come in and dunk on you and there's nothing you can do. Another example is when Casey Musgraves won Best Album. I think, to me anyways, from my understanding, is that this was relatively unexpected. Even Casey Musgraves seemed really surprised. And part of this, I think, is because Casey Musgraves is a country artist, and I think it's relatively rare for a country artist to win the big award of the night. Another well-known one was when Anthony Hopkins won an Oscar over Chadwick Boseman, who had just passed away. A similar thing happened when Cardi B won the Grammy over Mac Miller. So I think there's a bit of tension when someone who has passed away is nominated for an award, particularly when they don't win that award. And I think that can be a little bit misleading sometimes from award shows, where they can really insinuate that an actor or a performer is going to win and then they don't, which obviously it's a voting class, there's always voters who decide who win the awards, but I do think it can be misleading, and it can often lead to some very uncomfortable situations. Like I mentioned earlier, award season this year has been a little bland. It hasn't been super exciting because the same shows and same people kind of so far have been winning. But like I said, There's always room for change in the end. Succession has been sweeping as expected. This season of Succession that has been winning is the final season of Succession. I do want to say episode 3 of this season is probably the best episode of TV I've seen in my whole entire life. Like, I think it was amazing. I keep saying excellent, but it was excellent. But our number one boy has not been pulling up to award season for some reason. Apparently he's filming a movie, but Jeremy Strong, please grace us with your presence one time. The Bear has also been winning a lot, which makes total sense to me. I think Io and Jeremy are excellent actors. Excellent. So it makes a lot of sense, but they are sweeping. Movies are still a bit of a battleground this year, but Oppenheimer has been winning a fair amount and getting quite a few nominations. Anatomy of a Fall has been getting nominated and actually winning more than was expected for sure. Sarah Snook has been winning for Best Actress or Best Leading Actress in a Television Show, which I like. Good for her. Sarah Snook's awesome. Succession's awesome. But I just want to say, my hill that I'm willing to die on is that Bella Ramsey should be winning. Bella Ramsey's performance in The Last of Us was, holy crap, like one of the best I've ever seen. And for being such a young actor, wow. But while talking about this also brings up the aging of award shows, okay? Bella Ramsey goes by they, them pronouns. They identify as non-binary. Okay, but Bella Ramsey has been nominated in all the Best Actress categories. So they obviously don't have a category for people who don't fall within a gender binary of female or male. So they've just been putting Bella Ramsey in like the female category. So it's clunky, right? As Hollywood becomes more accepting, more inviting to, like a wider group of people, award shows are also going to have to adapt. Okay, so we've gone through most of the award show. The last component of the award show, other than like after parties, which, I'll add an addendum once I get on those lists. But other than that, the last part of an award show is typically like the big kahuna, the big award, all right? So it's going to be Best Picture, it's going to be like Album of the Year or Best Album, it's going to be Best Drama of the Year, like for TV or something. So, the big boy at the end. Personally, I live for Best Picture. Obviously, I've talked about the Oscars quite a bit. I'm trying to watch all of the Oscar Best Picture winners. I know I've mentioned that multiple times on this channel. And I just want to say, I think there's been a bit of a shift in the Best Picture winner since 2016, I would say. I think it can maybe be debatable about when specifically this change started, but from my perspective, it's changed around 2016 when Spotlight won, which I think Spotlight, excellent movie. Spotlight's really good. I really recommend Spotlight. Since Spotlight, I think all movies, maybe sans The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water is kind of a weird one, but maybe all of the movies except for that one have all been like pretty progressive movies. They've all the ones that have won have been a little bit more forward than everything in the past. Moonlight is about being like Black and queer. Green Book is also about race. Coda at its base is about deafness. What am I forgetting? Parasite is a foreign language film. So just the fact that a foreign language film won Best Picture at like the Oscars, which is, it's an American TV show. Most of the actors are at least English speakers. So I think for a foreign language film to win, that was pretty, I'd say progressive. Just topics you weren't going to be seeing in the Oscars in the 20s. I can already hear people saying, this movie in the past had a Black person in it or had an Asian person in it. But I guess I just want to say, think about the themes and how people of color were portrayed and see if it's still the same as how they are portrayed in more current movies, or at least the topics in the movies. Okay, and then lastly, I just want to bring up the elephant in the room. At least I think maybe some people will be aware of the elephant. I don't know. I didn't really talk about the politics as much of award shows and award season. So I'd say it's not much of a secret that Hollywood is not the most honest place. I know, shocking, but it's true. So depending on the award show, there's a voting class, a group of voters who decide who's going to win the awards for each award show. There's a campaign of sorts that is waged to try to sway voters towards certain projects. The information on the politics of award season aren't the easiest thing to find, because if you keyword like award shows or award season with politics, you're just going to get a lot of results about the speeches that are given at award shows and how they can have, political leanings or political messages. So it isn't the easiest information to find, but these award selections aren't always maybe as straightforward as we think they are, as we hope they are. If only award shows could be as simple as American politics. Jeez. Okay, that's all for me. I have to go work now, type on a computer, yeah. Let me know down below if you have any thoughts about award season, because there's so many topics, that you could discuss within award season. But let me know if you have any thoughts, if you're looking forward to any categories, any award shows. If you're interested in seeing more videos from me, subscribe so I show up in your little sub box. My social media will be in the description as always, and I will see you in my next one. Peace, love, and happiness. Bye. Ciao, Bella.